every SME is allowed to make mistakes, and they shouldn't beat themselves too badly on that point, because making mistakes is part of that process of learning and growing your experiences. That being said, there are a few global mistakes that a lot of companies tend to sort of walk into, especially in the creative and technical industries. One of which I think is falling in love with your own work. I think a common mistake is a lot of businesses tend to oversaturate their product with new features, new tick boxes, new ways of making it better without actually releasing what we call a minimum viable product.
Don't try and make it perfect before you release it. Make sure that you've done some testing to make sure people understand, and they're not completely bemused, but get it out there into a test environment and keep iterating very fast.
It's not easy, and nobody should expect it to be easy. Nobody should say, well, okay, maybe occasionally I get a no. Probably most of the time you're going to get a no, and you're going to have to turn that no into a yes by virtue of really listening to the objection that people are giving you and saying, okay, I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm going to work with this guy. This guy is giving me feedback, and the best thing you can have is feedback.
Be prepared to go in a slightly different direction than you imagined, because you have to take the feedback from your potential users. Give them something that is delivering value for them.
Another mistake is not considering the release window, concentrating solely on a release date. The problem a lot of companies tend to make, and again, it's back to just inexperience, is that you get so embroiled in the development of a product or a service, you concentrate wholly on the actual release day. And when you finally release your product, you kind of expect the rest of the world to discover it and suddenly praise it as being the best solution ever created. What you should be doing is thinking about the PR and the marketing several weeks, if not months, before a launch date. It should be part of your business plan, it should be part of your strategy going forward. It shouldn't be something that you think about once a product is released.
The reasons why businesses fail, I can probably look back at the 5 businesses that I've started, 2 of which failed, and come up with at least 2 of them through hard personal experience. The single biggest one is they run out of money. So you have the best idea in the world, but if you haven't got the right amount of money into your business and you run out of money, then that's it. The lights go off and everyone has to go home. So that's always the biggest reason. That's not just because they don't have a good product. They can have a great product and just not have calculated things right, or they could have a rubbish product that nobody wants, and that's why they run out of money. They don't get enough sales. Another big problematic reason why businesses fail, particularly small businesses, is they blag about their figures. They make claims that they're actually making to themselves as well as their investors about the sales targets they can achieve. And the problem with sales, as opposed to costs, is you can control costs and you can cut costs, but you can't go out and, after a difficult meeting where you've had to say hard stuff to people, you can't go out and suddenly get more sales. So the second biggest reason, in my experience, and that's why one of my businesses failed, is you just over-egg your sales aspirations. They become aspirational targets or stretch targets, not real achievable targets. And that has as real an impact on the business as going over budget.
It's also a mistake I see with a lot of young entrepreneurs and young startup businesses, where there's a slight level of arrogance that can creep into their business plan and their sales pitch when they're talking to investors about raising finance. They feel that what they have on paper and what they're able to execute is worth a lot more than it is in reality. If you're an SME and you've made mistakes, you shouldn't feel too bad about that. Every SME out there will make mistakes. Every good business will make mistakes and learn from them and move forward. It's all part and parcel of the experience, both for your individual growth and also for your company growth. It helps shape your products and your services. So making mistakes is not the end of the world. It's part of your growth, and you should embrace the lessons that you learn from them.